Hey everybody, how's it going? So we're going to do a quick tip today on Fusion 360 and that very first starting G-code line of your CNC program, and how to avoid that whole situation where it basically starts in a front left corner and then drags across your material and then pops up and then starts your cut. This was an issue I was having for a while when I first started with Fusion 360, and this is how I solve it. There's for sure more than one way to skin a cat, and I'll leave the comments open in the video so that if you'd like to share how you solve it, that might be easier. Fantastic. I'm happy to support that. So this is, let me just do a little bit of setup here on the video. So like many here, this is the orientation. This is how I set up my cut. So my home here is in this front corner. You say, well, that's not really front left, Mark. Well, it is if you cut it in this orientation, which is what I did. So front left corner, and then when you post-process generically in Fusion 360, the very first move is an XY move. So it basically starts here and then moves to wherever your first cut is, which for me was this pocket. So it basically had the potential to run across and scar this face and cause a bunch of problems. And so now what I do is whenever I post-process something in Fusion 360, I go through the normal steps here. And I'm going to go ahead and name it. I'm going to make sure that GRBL, Gerbil, however you want to pronounce it, is posted here in this drop down. I use clearance heights in my safe retracts and home position. I don't use G28 or G53. Do some research and see if your machine needs that, but it doesn't help with this particular problem that we're focusing on today. And then I'll go ahead and post this out. Yes, I've already downloaded it, so I'm just doing it again. So now that's in my downloads file. Now what I like to do is actually run over here to ncviewer.com. It's completely free, ncviewer.com. And this is like, if you've seen any of my 3D printing videos, I'm a big proponent of preview, right? And I like to start from line one and sort of walk through the thing and see how it's going to act. And so Fusion 360 doesn't do a great job of letting you preview those first few moves, NC Viewer does. And so if we go ahead and open our test file here, and you simply click over here, you can just walk down the rows and see how this thing's going to react. So, so starting here, S18,000 is if I had a controlled spindle, it'd turn this on and ramp it up to 18,000 RPMs. G54 workspace, and then here is our first move. Bang. G0, X2, Y5, right? And change. So that's the one that basically just says, okay, move in the X and Y. And it's still homed in the Z position. Then the next move is pop up Z, 0.6 inches, so 600 thousandths of an inch. So that's backwards to me, and this is where I simply do a flip, right? So I just flop those two lines. And the way to do that is very simple. You come here to G54, the line right above your X and Y move, add some space there, copy, paste, and then I make sure I get rid of this, because you don't want to be additive, right? You're moving a value from one row to the other in this case. Don't be additive, right? You got to solve for both sides of the equation. So if you're taking away from this side, you got to add it to this side type of thing. So just make sure you're not adding additional movement in your lines. And then I come down here to plot. And then we go ahead, if we start this all over again, we come here. First move now is in the Z, pop up. Then move over to the X and Y, then start my cut. And then you can kind of just roll down and see how it's going to go if that floats your boat. From here, then what I like to do is then you can just save this and run it out. So if I save this, it'll give you a new file with a new extension down here, just suffix with a new numerical, and you can open that up and save it. And then that's what I take to my CNC, and that's what I run on my CNC. The other way that you could do this is in the same program is you don't have to do this and then this and then this necessarily. It is completely feasible to go ahead and add this Z move, copy, paste, to your same X and Y line. So if we do that, and we make sure we get rid of that, and plot. So now instead of it moving up and then over, and starting the cut, you can actually just have it, ramp in that position or ramp to that location. And so if we go here and we start this and we say, so spindle, G54, first move, doink, and now you can see it's up in the air, right? So it's moved in this position up to that location. Completely fine. I prefer doing the Z move first because if I have any clamps or anything in close proximity to where I've homed, I avoid the potential of smacking anything on the way over. So I just get it up and out of the way first and then move over to my start position. Same thing, save it, rename it, do what you want. And then once you get, you don't have to use NC Viewer to do this. You can just open it up in your notepad or whatever tool you have for viewing G code, and you can make the edits directly there as well. So if I go to my downloads location and we find this first file, which is this one, open it up here in Notepad, we'll find our first move. So here's our G54. Here's our first move in the X and Y, right? So now you can just add line. Add a line. Make sure we get rid of. Hit file save. And then you can go run that file on your machine. No problem. Does the same thing. So you don't have to use NC Viewer. I just like it because I'm a preview guy, right? So there you go. Again, like and subscribe. Hopefully this solves a problem for you like it was for me. I just this is now just second nature. When I post something out of Fusion, I go swap those lines and it's all good to go. Anyway, hope that helps somebody. Like I said, I'll leave comments open and we'll see you on the next one.